Hey, what's going on, Jam fam? So the Pearl sneak peeks just dropped, and I thought it'd be a good idea to go check out Kairos Time's Pearl Olympics video. Like I said many times, I think he does the best job at breaking down a brawler's kit. I like the way he shows like all the little nuances in a brawler's kit, and then he kind of compares them to other brawlers, during the later stages of the Olympics video. So let's just jump over here. Yeah, here we are. Like I said, Kairos Time's video, the Pearl Olympics. Make sure you subscribe to him if you're not, and the link to the video, if you haven't checked it out already, is going to be down in the description. So make sure you watch that if you haven't. So anyway, let's get started. Let's check out what's going on with Pearl. Let's see what I like and dislike about her.
Main attack is hot cookies. She fires 6 cookies from her oven, one after another in a fan-shaped pattern, very similar to Pam's or Max's main attack.
Yeah, it definitely feels just like Pam's attack. Like I said in my W's and L's video, it feels like a lot of aspects of Pearl's kit are going to be pulled from other brawlers. So that's one thing that I'm not excited about, but it does look like she does pretty solid damage. Let's see what he ends up saying about this.
Damage that she deals has a wide range and depends on how full her heat bar is. Her heat bar fills up automatically as long as she's not using any attacks, and both her main attack as well as her super use up heat every time you use them.
Yeah, so it does kind of suck that you can never really count on any type of damage that's going to be coming from her. It's always going to be almost like an RNG number. Think kind of like Chester, but instead of the number of projectiles that are random, think the damage is going to be random. So it's going to be a little tricky to use her, I think. It's not a bad mechanic necessarily, but it is going to be a little annoying to play around sometimes.
One thing to keep in mind is that each projectile uses its own amount of heat instead of each ammo, so every single projectile will be weaker than the previous one, even within the same ammo.
Oh, wow. That's real. That's a really weird mechanic. So a single shot is constantly going to be dropping in damage. That's kind of bad. Not bad, but it doesn't seem like that intuitive. You know what I mean? So it's going to be, again, that's going to make it a lot harder to figure out how much damage you need to, how many more ammo you're going to need to actually kill a single opponent. They're going to be at like, I don't know, 3,500 HP, and you don't know exactly how much you're going to be able to do because your damage per projectile is constantly going to be changing. That's weird.
Super is let out some steam. She overheats, which causes a powerful explosion all around her. It deals huge damage to everything in its radius and knocks.
This is the one thing I did notice from Brawl Talk though, is that the damage from her super is very big. Even with like 0 heat, it's still doing like 3,500 damage, which is actually a lot of damage. At least it used to be. I don't know how it is nowadays. 3,500 damage feels like a lot though.
Not only does this super deal more damage with more heat built up, but it also uses all of her heat in the heat bar, so it's going to take a while before she can start dealing heavy.
Oh, wow. So that kind of sucks. So it completely depletes her heat bar. That's kind of, I mean, it's good in the sense that like if you have like a full heat bar, she's going to do a ton of damage, but it does kind of suck. Like if you kind of need a couple extra shots, I'm sure by the time someone takes a lot of damage from the super, it won't really matter that much, but it does feel like it's almost not worth using her super if you still need to, do a little bit more chip damage before the super will kill somebody.
Pearl's first gadget is Overcooked. Pearl's next attack fires some cookies that have been in the oven too long and are literally on fire.
That's a really good gadget. The one that's actually gonna like, it looks like it actually like fully maxes out her heat bar. Is that what he's gonna say?
Hit by one of these flaming cookies will take 60% of the total damage of the attack over the next 3 seconds, or 20%.
Oh, so it just adds a damage over time effect. I guess that's okay. It's more damage for Pearl. I wouldn't say it's probably a must run depending on her other gadget, but it seems like it's okay. I thought he was going to say that it instantly recharges her heat bar for 1 ammo, which I thought was going to be really good. That would actually be like a lot better, I think, but that seems like okay. Damage over time is never really a terrible thing because it can prevent healing up and can get, a couple kills here and there, so that's fine.
Gadget is made with love. Instead of setting her enemies on fire, the cookies from her next attack will heal allies that are hit by them.
This is just Lola's star power, right? Or kind of like Eve has a star power kind of like this where it changes her super from damage to healing. So maybe it's gonna be okay. Maybe as like a support brawler it might work, but I feel like you're probably gonna want to run the damage one a little bit more. It kind of depends on the team comp you're running, I guess.
Pearl's first star power is heat retention. With this star power equipped, Pearl will keep half of however much heat she has built up after this super.
That's a really good star power because that's going to make your damage a little bit more consistent, and you don't have to totally cash in all of your heat when you use your super, and then on top of that, you can still get the full damage of your super. So I like that. That's a very good star power, I think.
Pearl's second star power is Heat Shield. As long as Pearl's heat bar is above 80%, she gets a shield that reduces 20% of all incoming damage. This star...
I kind of don't like this one because this star power seems okay, but I kind of don't like it because, as you've seen, he only did 2 shots. So you get 1 shot, or you get 2 shots before your shield breaks, and then you kind of just don't have another star power. And then on top of that, when you use your super, you're going to lose your shield right away. So I don't know. Maybe I think I would rather run the other one, like he said, to try to keep your heat up more consistently rather than, trying to grab a shield for... Editing Jam. So I realized that I thought the shield was 80% when watching Kairos Time's video, and it's actually only a 20% shield. I changed my mind. This shield is really bad. I would never run this star power. Now that I'm watching it back and I know it's only 20%, it's really bad. Don't run this star power. I changed my mind.
Pearl is one of the few brawlers being released with a hypercharge. Her hypercharge is Pyrolytic. While her hypercharge is active, she gets a 30% speed buff, a 20% damage buff, and a 20% shield buff. On top of that, if she uses her super while she's hypercharged, she'll leave a burning area around for 4.5 seconds, which does...
Oh, wow, that's kind of cool. That does a decent amount. That adds more damage. So you can do a lot of damage over time with Pearl if you run her first gadget. You run this her hypercharge. So she seems like she's going to be a decent damage dealer at least.
This is the attack range test. Pearl's main attack reaches 8 2/3 times.
She does have a really nice attack range. This is very nice. The only thing you got to remember, just like Pam, is that when you're at max range, your projectiles are going to have more or less a random pattern. So you're not always going to land all your projectiles at this max range, but it is nice to do a little bit of chip damage from this far away.
Supercharge test. Pearl has to land 16 projectiles in order for her to charge her super, but that's actually 2 less than how many are fired with 3 ammo. So actually, she has the potential to charge her super pretty fast.
Wow, so she can charge her super in 3 shots if you land all your projectiles, which, like I said previously, may not always happen, but that is nice to know that if someone's point blank, you can just pump a bunch of shots into them and you'll have your super right away. That's pretty cool.
So we have the super damage test. According to her stat sheet, the lowest amount of damage that she can deal with her super is 3,100 damage. But I'm not even sure that's possible because she always has just a sliver of heat bar when she uses it. When her heat bar is full though...
But 5,400, so she does 5,400 damage with a full heat bar. That's very impressive. Like I said, I don't really know like all the new numbers after all the buffs and everything that are coming through, but 5,400 damage is a very nice number, and I know that's going to be somewhere around like probably like Colt, Brock type range. So if she can get close to those types of brawlers, then she's going to do a very good amount of damage. Probably one-shot them with her super. But also, like when you're in crunch time in Brawl Ball, like when you're near your goal, when you're near your opposing goal, you're going to be able to get a lot of damage off with the super, just like Maisie.
Assassin test. Pearl uses her super to quickly charge a second super with only 2 ammo. She even has time to unload her 3rd ammo after using her second.
So her super, so it's going to be super, 2 shots, and then you get another super back. That's a very good combination. I don't know how often that you're going to have to be able to use that type of situation, but you can get your super back pretty frequently with Pearl, it looks like, so that's very good.
This test is the 3 attack kill test. Pearl could have dealt more damage if I let her heat bar refill after every shot, but I think it's more useful and fair to fire all 3 shots as fast as possible. But with 3 ammo, she's able to deal 17,255 damage in total. That puts her in 2nd place overall, just behind 8-Bit while he's using his super. And that is enough to 3-shot every single brawler in the game and still have plenty of damage left over.
Wow, she could 3-shot every single brawler if she's point blank with full heat. So you do have to watch out for that. I wonder, is there like a visual cue that shows her heat bar level if you're not playing her, if she's not on your team? Because that's something you got to be aware of like when you play against her. But I don't know how often you're gonna actually want to walk up to a Pearl point blank. We'll find out. But it seems like that's very nice. Those numbers are nice. Those numbers are very nice. I'm not gonna take that away from her. So what do I think about Pearl now? So as you guys might know, I was not the biggest fan of Pearl coming out of the Brawl Talk. I gave her an L in my W's and L's video, and it wasn't necessarily because I didn't like Pearl herself. It was more just because I'm not a huge fan of the reusing of every aspect of her kit. One piece of a kit being recycled is perfectly fine, but when you have Pam's attack, you have Maisie's super, and then you have a ramp up mechanic that feels very similar to Ash's, I'm just not a huge fan of that entire thing overall. But I think Pearl herself is going to be perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with Pearl. First off, she's going to be an amazing damage dealer. Like Cairo said, she's going to be able to 3-tap pretty much any brawler if she's at max heat and they walk up to her point blank. Now, of course, I don't know how often that's going to happen because, you know, people are probably going to be aware not to walk right up to a Pearl, kind of like how you are, like, you don't want to walk up to like a Shelly type brawler. So obviously, you're not always going to be able to benefit from that, but the potential being there is nice to have. Next up, I think her super is going to be pretty satisfying to use. Like I said, it's Maisie's super more or less, but that's also my favorite part about Maisie's kit. I think that's a very solid super to have, and she actually can break walls, so there's going to be times when that benefits you, but there's also going to be times when that might hurt you because she doesn't have a fast movement speed, she doesn't have any form of mobility in her kit, so you got to be careful about all the walls that you break. You know, breaking like walls in front of like the Brawl Ball maps and stuff like that, obviously that's going to be good, but breaking walls that you need for cover, you're going to want to watch out for that. You don't want to do that. Next up, her gadgets. So her gadgets, the first gadget seems like it's way better than the second gadget. Like I said, I like that first gadget. It adds a little more damage to her kit, which is going to be her main thing. It also adds some damage over time, so you can deny a little bit of healing possibly, and you might even get a couple kills here and there just because they're ticking away and their health was too low when they got shot. So I think that's a very good gadget to have. But the second gadget, it feels very gimmicky, the healing one. I don't think I would ever really consider buying that one. If you get it out of a star drop, that's cool, but you're definitely going to have to want to think about it a lot before you want to take it into a match. Like I said, you're going to have that problem that Byron has when your teammates are trying to dodge attacks and you're trying to heal them up with your attack, and you're just going to end up using your gadget. So I don't know if it's necessarily the best gadget if you really want to run it. If you like it, cool, that's good, but I just don't think that it's going to be better than the first gadget. As far as their star powers, I think the first star power is just a little bit better than the second star power. Obviously, the second star power you're going to be able to get a lot of value from if you don't do a lot of shots, if you keep your heat bar filled quite a bit. She's going to have that shield. She's going to take a lot less damage. You're going to be able to tank a lot more damage. So, you know, there's definitely going to be situations when you can get value from the second star power, but I also think the first star power, you know, generally people want to run more damage type star powers, and being able to keep more of your heat after using your super is very good. So obviously when you have more heat, you're going to do more damage, and over time that's going to add up a lot more throughout a match as opposed to just being able to tank more damage. So I think for most people you're going to want to run the first star power, but there's definitely merit to running the second one in a mode like, I don't know, Brawl Ball or maybe Gem Grab if you have gems or whatever. And I guess I'm going to talk about her hypercharge. I think the hypercharge is perfectly fine. It's nice to have. It does a little more damage over time, adds more damage to your kit, and then obviously any brawler, when they use hypercharge, they're going to get a little more buffed up during the match, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what to say about hypercharges because, like, not every brawler has them, so it's hard to compare between everything, but I think it's a fine hypercharge. You know, adding a little more damage to a damage-dealing brawler is pretty much a good thing. Anyway, let me know what you think about Pearl down in the comments. Let me know what you like about her. Let me know what you don't like about her. Make sure you check out Kairos Time's video if you haven't already. Make sure you're subbed to him. Obviously, most people are, but if you're not, by chance, make sure you subscribe to Kairos Time. He obviously does great content. There's a reason why he's got 1 million subscribers. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.